Lesson 9, Excel Options. In this lesson, we'll take a look at how you can use Excel options to change the color scheme, show the developer tab, and many other items. In Excel 2007, we go to the Office button and then choose Excel Options. Now, if you remember in Excel 2003, the Options dialog box was horrible with 13 different tabs. They seem to have simplified it a bit in Excel 2007, with basically the tabs being here along the left-hand side. I like the fact that they moved some of the most popular icons to a new tab called Popular. One thing you can do here is change from the blue interface to either silver or black. Silver to me actually appears to be gray. And black is a great interface that they developed. Works well, especially if you need to print something in black and white. For example, in most of the books, we use this interface because it provides a higher contrast and reproduces well in a monochrome book. We can also decide whether we want the full screen tips or the shorter screen tips or no screen tips at all. You can edit custom lists, and we'll talk about that in a later lesson. Or which font is the default font. If you would rather create your worksheets in 10-point or 12-point font, you can do that. And how many sheets are in a new workbook. You can control the name used in cell comments. So those are all the main items on the Popular category. The Formulas category is similar to the old Calculation tab in Excel options. Of course, most of the time we're going to have our workbooks calculate automatically, but if you have a workbook that takes minutes to recalculate, manual might be appropriate. R1C1 reference style, I don't know many people who use this old style that dates back to the days of Microsoft Multiplan. That's where the column letters A, B, C are replaced with numbers 1, 2, 3, although it's strange that VBA still uses this reference style. Formula autocomplete is the new method in Excel 2007 where they will start to type the correct function name once we've typed enough letters to help us out. Error checking, this is basically the tool's autocorrect options. On proofing, we can control some more autocorrect options and also go through and choose the dictionary language or edit any custom dictionaries. Save is an important tab in my view because you get to choose how you're going to save your files. Excel 2007 offers many new file formats, the XLSX, XLSM, XLSB, and you can choose which one you want to use by default. Now for me, since I'm frequently writing macros, I use the XLSM file type. One popular columnist suggests that you should save all your files as an XLS format so that way you're able to share your files with people who use Excel 2003. My big problem with this is then you don't get to use any of the new features in Excel 2007, such as the new functions or rows beyond row 65,000. You have some control here over where the default file locations are, and even what colors you will use when sharing this workbook with previous users of Excel. One of the reasons why they were able to simplify the list of tabs here is the Advanced tab. The Advanced tab basically takes every Excel option that was in the old 13-tab dialog box that couldn't find a home in any of the other tabs and just puts it in this one list that is a mile long. We've already seen the Customize dialog box. That was back in Lesson 2 where we learned how to customize the Quick Access toolbar. If you can't remember to right-click the Quick Access toolbar and choose Customize, you could always come to Office button, Excel options, and click Customize to get to the same place. The Add-ins tab allows you to manage not just Excel add-ins, but also COM add-ins, XML expansion packs, smart tags, and so on. This is equivalent to the old Tools add-ins. Notice that in Excel 2003, we frequently turned on the Analysis Tool Pack. They've taken the 89 functions from Analysis Tool Pack and made them be part of the core Excel product. So it's no longer necessary to use this unless you needed to use the Data Analysis section of the Analysis Tool Pack. We'll get back to the Trust Center in a second, but let's take a look at the Resources tab. This is essentially the old help menu. If you want to see what version, like help about, you can now see that here, or go check Microsoft Online, activate, or attempt to contact Microsoft. The Trust Center is a whole new setting in and of itself, in that when we press Trust Center settings, we now have 8 new tabs. Trusted publishers, this allows you to say that add-ins from certain companies will always be trusted. Trusted locations is an interesting one. You can set up a folder on your computer and say that this is now a trusted location. Anything you store in that folder will be able to avoid all of Excel's security measures. For example, turning macros off automatically, disabling links to external workbooks automatically. If those things annoy you and you're only working with files that you create, you might as well create a folder that is a trusted location, and then Excel won't nag you for all of those items. The Add-ins tab, if you're completely afraid of add-ins, go ahead and disable all of them. Of course, that is not necessarily recommended. ActiveX, we get to control whether or not we're going to run ActiveX settings right on the worksheet. Macro settings, this is Tools Macro Security. They changed all of these words where we used to have very high, high, medium, and low. We now have different words. Basically, medium is disable all macros with notification. That means when you open the workbook, macros will be disabled, but a message will show up in the status bar allowing you to enable the macros. Definitely, you do want to show the message bar, otherwise you won't know that Excel has disabled the macros or disabled links to external workbooks. External content, this is one that really just frankly perplexes me. The top item is for web queries, and the second one is for links from one workbook to another. I mean, this is very frequent where we'll have workbook A that grabs some values from workbook B, and I frankly don't understand how this is a security concern. Microsoft, though, is so concerned with security that they now, by default, make those external links not update. I mean, what are we afraid of? That it's going to reach out to workbook B and grab a, it's a 4. I mean, I don't understand this, and it actually is going to cause far more problems. By not updating those links, your people who are reading your workbooks won't have the most current values. In previous versions of Excel, they were immediately asked, hey, there's links, do you want to update them or not? Well, now it just shows up in the message bar that says, hey, guess what? I didn't update your links, and your VP of Sales is going to be able to start entering data without ever seeing that message bar, without ever acknowledging the message bar, and without getting the current data. In my opinion, this is a disaster, and I certainly hope that in Excel 14, Microsoft takes steps to improve it. In privacy options, we can control whether or not it goes out to Microsoft Office Online to get help. You know, I think that when we shipped Office 2007, some of the help topics weren't completely done. Now that's been fixed in SP1 if you've downloaded the Service Pack 1, but sometimes there's always new content or tutorials available on Office Online. I'm interested in the translation options in that they claim that there's options, but for every single language pair, when I choose, I only have one option. So I get to choose World Lingo or World Lingo. I don't quite get what the point is here. Maybe in the future they're going to add other companies to provide translation. And in the top, you can turn off certain language pairs. For example, if you have an employee and you don't want them to be able to translate from Italian to English. Maybe if my high school son had a pen pal in Italy and I thought that she was a bad influence, I could prevent him from translating from Italian to English. I really, again, don't entirely understand the point of this. Document Inspector is new. There was a high-profile case a few years ago where one of the U.S. government agencies had put out a position paper, and it turns out that someone who knew Office just moderately well was able to go to File Properties and learn that the position paper was not written by the government agency, but actually written by a lobbying agency. Well, that caused some embarrassment, as you can imagine, and so Microsoft gives us this ability to search the document for hidden things, comments, items hidden in document properties. Hidden. I mean, it's very easy to get to document properties. Custom XML data, things hidden in headers and footers, hidden rows and columns, hidden worksheets, and allegedly invisible content. as I've gone through and used the document inspector, it is about 85% effective. If you have some cells that are hidden by changing them white, which is a very common thing to do, it does not call those out. Things that are hidden in the Data Consolidate dialog box, it does not find those. So if you are working for a government agency and you are passing off someone else's work as your own, I hope that you can sleep better knowing that this will cover you 85% of the time. There's still other things that are going to slip through, so don't be completely reliant that that's going to save you. Click OK, and we'll get back to the regular Excel options. So while on the face of it, Excel options seems to be a bit simpler, watch out for the Advanced tab, which really just has many other options. And be careful if you're using the Document Inspector and the Trust Center, and that there's going to be some things that it simply does not find. Well, I hope you found that helpful, and thanks for watching.
Looking to advance your career by acquiring new skills? Tired of expensive off-site training programs? Wish you could learn from the best instructors in the industry? Look no further than Live Lessons. Self-paced, personal video instruction by the world's leading technology publishers. Each live lesson comes with a DVD featuring 3 to 4 hours of instructor-led classroom training, sample program code that allows you to work along with your personal instructor, and an example-rich study guide. Live lessons allow you to watch the entire course from start to finish, or navigate directly to any of the individual lessons. You'll literally watch over the shoulder of your instructor as he shows you how to build state-of-the-art applications. Live Lessons, the power of the world's leading technology experts at your fingertips. To learn more, visit mylivelessons.com today.